Top Chef Griller Eddie G.
My name is Richard Eden.
My name is Joshua Simpson.
My name is Riah Stevenson.
My name is Sathya.
My name is Sophia Carey.
My name is Tom Humble.
My name is Suzydee Hernandez.
I'm Darrell Jackson.
My name is Marty.
It's Jamal.
My name is Mikey.
My name is Thomas.
And you're tuned into Photo Corner. When you survey the creative landscape, you realize how many wonderful photographers are out there making photographs in numerous genres of photography. From portraits, fashion, landscape, street, and documentary, to name a few, you start to understand many of these photographers' interests lie in multiple places. There are no limits to their creativity. Today we get to learn about some individuals within our community around the world that make it whole. We take a dive into where they're from, what they do, and their creative goals for this year. And without a doubt, pick up inspiration along the way.
I'm Darrell Jackson, also known as D-Jax, or DJ as some call me. Primarily a portrait photographer based in San Francisco and Los Angeles, California.
My name is Suzydee Hernandez. I'm 29 years old and I'm based in Los Angeles, California. When I'm not working, I'm usually out exploring random parts of California and taking pictures of them. I have always been into photography, but it wasn't until a couple years ago that I dived into film photography. My film camera purchase was very much impulsive, and I never thought that I would fall for film photography as much as I have. But 2 years later, it's pretty much the biggest hobby that I've invested in my entire life.
My name is Marty. I'm a portrait photographer based out of Long Beach, California, and I shoot primarily film, as you can see from these cameras that I have here on my coffee table. But the reasons for why I shoot film is because I love the process as much as the output. You know, obviously film has a very unique quality to it when you actually see the photos, but what I also love is the process, you know, from being able to come up with an idea, that inception of the idea, to choosing a film stock to, you know, lend itself to that idea, taking that film, loading into your camera, shooting your shots, being a little bit more deliberate in how you're shooting because obviously you have a limited number of shots to take, unloading your camera. And what I also like to do is to develop my own film at home and then scan it as well. And so I'm part of that entire process, and my decisions kind of make or break the photo. And so I love being able to be a part of that entire process. I also do shoot portrait work mostly. I'm pretty trash at landscape photography, super trash at street photography, so I feel like I'm halfway decent at portrait photography. And the reason for why I think I'm okay at it is because portrait photography is a collaborative effort, and I love working with people to create something together. It's not just the photographer, it's also the model or person that's in the photo that's making that photo something special. And I shoot primarily people that I know and people that I care about, and I prefer it that way just because there's a certain type of connection that you can have with that person that you're shooting. And I love to shoot the people that I love because I like to make them feel special when they see the photos that they're in. I like for them to see how I see them. I feel like when you take a picture of someone, especially if it's someone that you really care about, that only you can take that photo because that's how you see them. As corny as that sounds, I really do believe that. I want the whole world to kind of see how I see them as well. So that's my whole thing. Love taking pictures of people, making them feel beautiful, and showing the world how beautiful they are.
My name is Sophia Carey and I am a photographer from the UK. I mostly shoot portraits, but you'll also find me doing a little bit of street and a little bit of everything else as well.
My
My name is Sathya. You can call me Sathi. I'm from London. I work as a business intelligence consultant full-time and also a freelance photographer, although currently freelancing is on a pause. COVID has been a trigger for that, but I think in hindsight, I definitely needed this time to ask some important questions to myself about my creative process and intentions. Right now, I mostly shoot still life, and the challenge for me is to walk around where I live, go to familiar places, but still be able to come up with interesting frames.
My name's Joshua Simpson. I'm a fashion, music photographer and videographer based in London. I've been documenting professionally now for the last 5 years. I started off shooting music-related content, i.e. live shows, live concerts, artist-related content, and working with various record labels. Towards the end of 2018, that's when I got into more videography and fashion work. And that's when I started to document more fashion shoots, fashion films, and working with different brands, models, and more.
My name is Riah Stevenson. I am a portrait photographer, music photographer, based out of Mississippi usually when I'm in the United States, but I just recently moved to London, UK. I just like to tell stories of Black and brown people, mostly through photography and music. Music is such a huge passion of mine. Working with musicians I have some, like, the best times, made some of the best friends in the world. Just like to be able to tell their stories, especially because I'm from Mississippi, which is not necessarily known for being, the place where you go to want to be a musician or rapper, singer, but we also happen to be the birthplace of America's music. So it's just been so much fun to be home and connect with my people on a level like that and be able to tell stories of Mississippi creatives, because we are so dang talented. It's for sure where I draw most of my creativity from. But now in London, I hope to transfer a lot of that here. I hope to be here for a while, so this should be fun.
My name is Tom Humble and I'm a photographer based in a little seaside town in the UK called Southend-on-Sea. I'm predominantly a wedding photographer by trade. I usually, apart from last year, I usually shoot around 50 weddings a year. I probably started shooting photography, I'd say about 7 years ago, and obviously it evolved from a hobby into a career. I don't just shoot weddings, so obviously I really enjoy shooting things like portraiture, landscapes, documentary work. My love of photography comes from actually documenting my own family. And I guess essentially I treat most of my wedding clients and stuff just like my kids, I just let them have fun and chase them around with a camera for most of the day. But yeah, more recently I've started shooting a lot more film over the past couple of years, and I've become much more interested in creating sort of larger bodies of work with a hope to one day release, my own sort of photo books and stuff like that.
Hope I get it from my guy. Only won't kick it with you unless you gon' ride. Really both that X without a plan on the slab. Whole lot of bullets in my leg, I had to dash. I do what I do for Kino and feel the rush. I got the juice, I can pull you up if you want to.
It's Jamal, better known as Jamal the Photographer. I am a 23-year-old documentary photographer based in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I just love documenting people, helping tell their stories, especially in the Black community. And that's the biggest thing that I hope that people see through my work, because people have stories. Everyday people have amazing stories, and it's just finding those people, talking to them, and documenting their life and sharing that with the world. That's what I love to do, and so that's why I picked documentary photography.
I like you. My baby, I die for you. See you, you know, I see you. My baby, you know, I ride with you. My baby, I don't cover that, I die for you. I pray to the Lord, I rise to the Lord, gonna greet the Lord.
My name is Eddie G. I'm a Top Chef griller. I'm a film photographer and documentary photographer based in Denver, Colorado, and I shoot a lot of film on my Leica M6 and then digital stuff on my Leica Q for fun, because digital's fun, film is where it's at. Burning this hot dog. It's a sausage, not a hot dog.
I'm not a naughty rider. Let me please you right tonight. Don't make plans tonight, yeah. No, but get it. Come here to me. Come here to me, let's go. Come to me.
My name is Richard Edens. I'm a photographer here in Denver, Colorado, originally from North Carolina. For work, I do a lot of product-related photography, portraiture when I can. For personal work, I like to shoot whatever's around me, wherever I am, as many people as I can get in front of the camera. But lately, it's been a little less than I'd like. And this is a photo I'm taking this year of a bird on a building with a blue sky.
Film and digital photographer based in Seattle, Washington, and I'm also a first-year physical therapy student. As for what I like to shoot, I love photos of my friends and my girlfriend. I really like shooting everyday life, my surroundings, and nature. Washington State's really beautiful for that.
My name is Thomas, and I am a photographer based out of Fort Worth, Texas. So professionally, I shoot weddings. I also do elopements, portraits, couples, pretty much anything that involves people. I do have a YouTube channel as well that is focused on film photography, but I do throw some digital photography into it as well. But yeah, I just really love taking pictures, telling stories with taking pictures, and that's kind of how I've been living the past 5 years or so. In terms of creative goals, if I had to name one creative goal, I would say it would be to double down on YouTube, to reach that 1,000 subscriber mark. I really just want to be creating videos that, you know, inspire people, help tell stories that I'm trying to convey, and really just provide some sort of value through education or entertainment or a mixture of both. I really do love just making the videos because they are a lot of fun to make videos, and I've kind of fell in love with video editing. But to reach that benchmark, it at least shows that there's an audience for it and that it is worth pursuing.
So one thing that I aim to accomplish as a creative this year is just to get published in a publication, whether it's like the New York Times or a major article, or something just where people can see my city and the people here, because it's pretty small. When you say Shreveport, Louisiana, most people think Louisiana is like New Orleans or like down south. So not a lot of people know about Shreveport. And so I kind of want to just put my city on the map and show people what's here and document that through my eyes. And so my biggest goal, like I said, publish on like a bigger publication or a newspaper or a commercial or something where my photos are shown, these everyday people here are shown and get a voice. And so yeah, that's my biggest goal as of right now.
So one of my goals this year is to go home back to Mississippi, start a photo project about where I'm from. Normally where I'm from, it's mostly, I live in a beach town, but it's mostly seen as very white, very old, very retirement-like, and I would like to really document what Black young teenage life is like on the coast of Mississippi, because that's something that the world needs to see that they've never seen before.
So one of my goals this year as a photographer is to explore the documentary side of photography, my photography specifically. That's something I really enjoy doing, but this past year, and because of the pandemic and everything, I really didn't get out and do it that much. There's not really people out there you can connect with. There wasn't too many places I can go, so I kind of just stuck to street photography for most of the year, and that was great. I really enjoyed it, but I think it's time to really slow down and start shooting a lot more documentary stuff of my family and shooting just life and the beautiful things I see around me, because I enjoy this stuff so much, and I just want to take time to just hone in, focus in on life happening around me and just being a human, being present and capturing a lot of that.
I think my main creative goal this year would be to work with more people. After this past year, there's been a lot of dead space between everyone, a lot of separation. I'd like to fill that up with new work, new connections, and new relationships via photography and creativity.
So in terms of creative goals for this year, I mean, obviously I want to keep honing my skills, as a photographer, especially when it comes to things like film photography. I want to keep shooting, keep developing. Eventually I'd quite like to get into my own printing and stuff as well. I'd also really love to start shooting large format this year, but I don't really want to rush into anything, so I'm happy to kind of let that come naturally when it does. My main creative goal this year is just to create a body of work that I'm proud of and that I could then release in the form of a photo book. That's kind of what I'm working towards at the moment with a year-long project. Yeah, I'd just love to get to the point where I can be releasing, longer projects and bodies of works in the form of photo books and stuff, and have things that are, books that are sitting on other people's shelves and inspiring them. I love photo books myself, and that's the point where I guess I am in my creative journey at the moment. That's what I want to achieve by the end of the year.
For me, 2021 is a year where I have a lot of goals, but mainly I just want to be creating the work that I want to be creating, and that also be able to sustain my lifestyle.
One of the things that I've been wanting to shoot for so long is portraits, but I've always managed to find one excuse or another on why I shouldn't do it. I think it's mostly to do with the fear of failing, and I also got really comfortable with my style of photography before COVID. And coming out of this strange time, I do understand the importance of listening to your gut and trying new things. So one of my creative goals for this year is to create a personal project that is centered around portraits. So fingers crossed, lockdown would be lifted and I'd be able to meet people again to be able to do that. Let's see.
One thing I'm aiming to accomplish this year is to be more prominent with my photography and videography. I want people to hear my name, Joshua Simpson, and then, almost associate that with a photographer and videographer. I know, that's not going to come easy, and I know there's a bunch of things that are going to contribute to that goal, i.e. my work ethic. I really have to kind of push myself this year. And also be more consistent with my work. I always have them spells where I put out content and then I don't for a while, but I feel like this year, I really just want to push myself, constantly put out new work on, whether that's social media, my website, but then also, working with brands, working with small brands, big brands, and then, working with other photographers, working with other videographers, models. And then also as well, taking my YouTube more serious. That's been a goal of mine for a while, and I feel like all of these things are really just going to help that goal to kind of market myself, get my name out there on all platforms, even locally, globally, and then just hopefully by the end of the year achieve that goal of being more solidified within my community.
One of the things that I want to accomplish in 2021 is to actually print some of my work, and more specifically I want to print a zine. I have this project in my head called The In-Between, which is a series of images that depict what I call in-between moments, which is basically those moments that are in between moments of happiness. I feel like a lot of life, you're either being nostalgic for things from your past or looking to dreams of your future, and it's really hard to remain present, especially when present isn't necessarily all the greatest. So basically I have a series of images that I'm working on with a friend to kind of depict that mood and that feeling and that state of being. So that's a zine that I want to print this year.
One of my biggest goals this year, one of many, is to put out another zine. I already put one out this year and I had a lot of fun designing and putting it together, so I'm really hoping to put out another one sometime in the near future. Another goal of mine is to get into 120 film. I just recently purchased my first ever medium format camera, so I'm hoping to dive into that and learn a bit about that. And of course, another goal of mine is to keep learning and keep trying to get better. I've only done this for about 2 years now and I'm still very new to it, so I'm just hoping that I can grow and get better and learn more.
My creative goals for the year include shooting more. I feel like with COVID, I didn't really get to shoot as much as I would like to in 2020. So hopefully I could do a lot more personal work and some more projects, like bigger projects, put together maybe a book. That would be really cool to get started on.
One thing I'm hoping to accomplish this year is to stay on top of photography while I navigate physical therapy school. I'm in an accelerated hybrid online program and it really is a lot. It's a 3-year program condensed down into 2 years, and I'm just studying all the time and it's kicking my ass, to be honest, but it's all right. I just make sure to take a lot of walking breaks, and I'll bring a camera with me when I do. The only downside is that I don't really have a lot of time when I take those breaks, but it's all right because it just forced me to be a little bit more creative with my shots and kind of see my neighborhood a little bit differently. And I'm playing around with different focal lengths while I do that too.
Having the opportunity to hear firsthand from these creators has provided us insight into their process and who they are as individuals. Sharing your goals and dreams openly can be a vulnerable thing, but I believe we're all taking steps every day closer to where we want to be, yet appreciating the moment we're presently in. Many of us are actually doing the things we say we want, so instead of aspiring, we've already become. Having the confidence in owning your abilities allows us to step into our power to further push the creative envelope. This is our journey. The next step in the process is hearing even more from these individuals, but this time they're helping you grow by providing tips to not only beginning photographers, but even seasoned photographers. No matter where you are on your journey, they're here to help. Further down the line, the same group of individuals will be defining what success means to them as a photographer. We hope to see you again on the next episode of Photo Corner.